Forgive me.
This woman will cut, chop, break, and burn 5 men beyond recognition.
On your knees.
I don't like women giving me orders.
And there isn't a jury in America that will convict her. I spit on your grave. Rated R.
I've tried to sort of, talk to different kinds of people in different places about, what we can probably do, what we can try to reach out to those people and get them to want to come down and produce a show. And that's something that, I'm not just saying, well, that's, other producers and staff people should worry about. We all need to be involved in that. And I include myself, that we should all make that part of the mission in terms of moving forward into the future and for the sake of the station. And that's something that I'm going to try to do more of, and especially explain to people what the station is. Because like I said, a lot of people don't understand what public access is. And I could just say, and I know I've talked about this before, but for those people who didn't hear it, the story of how I became involved with this channel is I just happened to tune in one day and didn't know anything about PCTV or anything. And all of a sudden I just happened to see this show where this monkey doodle fool was on here making, a bunch of anti-gay remarks. So I called the cable company the next day and I was like, what is this? And found out that this is a public access channel. And it just so happened that I knew all about public access because growing up, the community, which I'll leave nameless, had a public access station in my high school. So I was already familiar with it and I knew all about it. And so I was just like, well then I'm gonna get involved. And that's how I got involved. And that was sort of my motivation to come down here and find out, what do I have to do to produce a show and that kind of stuff. And so that's how it started for me. And the early shows really was a reaction and a response to what I was feeling at that time. And I don't want to say I was out to produce a quote-unquote gay show, because I really wasn't. It was meant to be surreal. And the cast of people we had just happened to include GLBT people from the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community, but we also had heterosexual people, so it was just, it was all inclusive, so it wasn't like it was the gay show, but there were certainly gay themed skits that we did on the show and so forth. And I don't make any apologies about it, because it was meant to be very in your face, so to speak. And we had really off-the-wall characters, and it was very like over the top in a lot of ways. But I really want to just stress that it wasn't about trying to be a role model for the gay community, and I know that a lot of people would shudder to think that I would try to be like a role model, because that's really not what my intention was. So with that said, I really want to say, maybe you have a Jewish or a Hispanic neighbor or someone that you can reach out to and say, and tell them what this station is, because this is open to everyone. Any Pittsburgh resident can come down to this station, become a producer, and have their own TV show. And so why is that important? Well, I know, a lot of people don't think about it, but the freedom to be able to express yourself, the freedom to be able to say what you believe and what's on your mind, that's powerful, and that is worth more than money, it's worth more than anything. So for that to be taken away is a big deal. So I just want to encourage people to educate themselves, find out about this, because it will be a shame if we were to lose this, because not only is it just going to be public access, but then it's going to be internet use, your ability to post whatever videos that you want on the internet and so forth. And so what I've been encouraging people to do is spread the word, tell them what this is all about, explain to them that this is open to everyone that lives in Pittsburgh. You can, obviously, you don't have to be an expert in TV production. I also want to stress that, because that's always a question I have people asking me. You don't have to be a Steven Spielberg to have a show here. And I've visited other cable access stations, and I've seen the way they operate. And we're really lucky in that sense, because you have a competent staff here of people that will help you and can help you produce a show. And just in speaking to my own community, because Pittsburgh is made up of many communities as part of one whole entire city. And what I want to say directly to my own, the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community, is you are welcome here. And that is something that people have expressed concern about. Friends of mine that I've talked to, certainly have had friends, obviously, that were, I don't want to say brave, but they were not deterred. They came here, you've seen them, they were not intimidated. And I realized, though, that creating and producing a TV production might seem very intimidating at first. And for me, I can say, yeah, it was. I mean, to come down here and not know anything, yeah, it was scary at first. And it is a commitment of time and work. There's a lot that goes into it, especially depending on how far you want to go with it, how much you're willing to invest in the work. And I've had so many people ask me, well, you know, you don't get paid for doing all this work, so why do you continue to do it? And that's a fair question, and I have, believe me, asked myself, because at times it can be frustrating. And I can just tell you flat out, for me, this was about doing something that I like doing, I'm able to do, and I feel like I wanted to make a contribution to my own community, and this is what I decided to do. And for me, it's like doing my part, but I really feel that it wasn't like I was out to be the token gay producer, like that's the gay producer of PCTV, but it just so happens that in 10 years, I've been pretty much the one, I guess, outspoken producer that just happened to be. But I also want to touch on that, because in all the years that I have been involved with this station, I only really met one other person who happened to be gay and became a producer here, and he had a music video show for a short while and then left and moved on. Now he has his own website. And of course, I'm talking about David Stanton, who I've worked on a number of productions with, and he has a website now called www.gaylifetv.net. But you know, one person, one other person, people, in all the years that I've been here, I just don't understand it. So, and I've really been trying, like I said, to reach out and try to encourage and, dare I say, inspire. I don't know if that's the word to use, but I do feel that we have a real need here for more GLBT themed programming.